And with this beautiful intention setting practice, let's strengthen this by chanting 3 rounds of Omkar. Take a deep breath in for Om. 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 Gently rubbing your palms together. Bringing the warmth of your palms on your face, cup your eyes, open your eyes inside the palms, gently bringing your hands down. Okay, once again, warm welcome to all the participants. I firstly really want to congratulate you that you have taken this call to learn about how to teach children. It's very important. It's like creating the next generation ready. And this is a very big accountability that we all have taken. So, on that note, I would love to share a little bit, if you allow me, my story on how I got into kids yoga and why this topic is definitely close to my heart. I remember being a yoga teacher. Journey was going on beautifully with all the serious topics and philosophy and teaching some strict classes of hatha yoga. Life was going on good. And just like many of you who are here to upskill yourself as a yoga teacher, to get into different field, to get certifications, with the same mood, I had entered one of my trainings for kids yoga. And day one, it was a very formal orientation and introduction class. And I was very happy. Oh, it's going good. I'm learning so much theory and all of that. And then came the practice class. And in the practice class, when we were sitting, um, all started well. We were sitting in a circle, as I will share with you as we progress in our classes, that how the setup in kids yoga class is little different than how we usually do in the adults classes. So any which ways, we were in a circle and it was still comfortable for me. And gradually, teacher introduced that today we'll be doing the kindergarten yoga. I was like, okay. And then she said, jump like a frog. And everybody started jumping. And at that moment, I realized, oh my God, why am I so stiff? Although I was pretty flexible, bodily wise, I could move even in my yoga classes. But when I had to like jump like a froggy and become a tree, become a butterfly and sing a song, I was so stiff mentally. I just couldn't let go of my this serious thing that somehow I had got. And then day one was really difficult practice wise for me. And I realized, oh my God, this training is for me actually. It's not just to upskill myself with, new certification and start teaching children. I was already teaching children even before that. And all I thought was I'm going to learn some new techniques. But I realized that it's a journey for my own self. And then yes, date, and I could see that couple of people were like me who were struggling to loosen up their whatever they were holding on to. And then after that, it was so good. It was all about fun, like couple of days. And then I had more reflective walks in the ashram there. And I was thinking that why was I so hesitant to let go and relax and jump like a froggy, and why I couldn't do that at that time. So that reflection led me to a thought that I need to connect to my inner child. I have to. It's not that being a yoga teacher, there's a difference between what you understand as being childish and being childlike. And somewhere I had lost being also childlike in my life. Nothing was lost majoritatively, but I realized I'm missing on to some beautiful things as well in life. And this is where I want to start on this beautiful note that even if you take up on this course, professionally, of course, you're going to receive all the tools and techniques and creative ideas to uh, understand that how to share yoga with children in different forms and ways. But trust me, if we start applying this on ourselves also, we understand kids psychology, it will change us as a person. So that was my humble realization through my kids yoga teacher training, which impacted me way more than just some skills. It actually changed certain aspects inside of me for sure, for all time to come. So that is where I hold very special place for kids yoga. And now I have this amazing question for all of you. You don't have to, I already know the answer, but still I'm going to ask. How many of you want to always stay young? No matter who you are, detached yogi or, advanced yogi, everyone. First, externally as well as internally. We don't want to lose out on that spark that, we all have. So then, well, here's an open carpet welcome for you that you should start engaging more with children. You should start teaching yoga to children. This is one of the best ways to always stay young. And have you heard of this analogy that uh, stress impacts aging? Have you, all of you? Yes? So I have noticed one more thing that when we teach children, the moment we enter the class, we might be holding on to a lot of things inside of our head. Something's going on in our lives, which is very normal, usual thing for any one of us. The moment we enter kids yoga class, I have seen miracles happening when you come out of the class at the end. You just realize that it's fine, you can manage. It's manageable. Whatever is going on in the head, it's you become a witness to it. You find it manageable and much better. So yes, even physiologically, mentally, I feel that if you want to always stay young, it's a stress management remedy as well. And what a blessing you get. You're also sharing beautiful yogic knowledge. At the same time, you're getting so much benefits for your own self, right? So yes, on that beautiful note, I want to congratulate all of you for trying to understand this subject today on Kids Yoga. I will now share the screen as we move forward to the introductory slides of how the course is going to be. So this today's class will be combination of understanding how the course is going to be, benefits of yoga for children. And in tomorrow's class, we will be going a little more deeper into lesson planning part, themes that can you have different themes for kids yoga. So just quickly allow me to share the screen, everyone. Do you all see the screen now? More better, bigger? Yes. So Anjana, I'll be resolving a lot of doubts at the end of the course as well. But since you've asked now, should you have prior yoga experience? Not needed. If you have some experience of yoga, it's always nice. It will be like more easier for you to draft and modify some poses and rename them as per kids yoga. But if not, the resources are there for you where you will have a comprehensive book on asanas along with picture guides. So you'll have a lot of help any which ways on every subject. If anybody has prior experience, it's always a bonus. It's add-on thing to do. So it's a teacher training program actually where you can start teaching children. At the end of the course, you will be qualified enough along with some assignments and homeworks and studies that you will be doing and all the classes that I'll be taking, sharing of ideas, reflection. You will actually understand the whole area of the different age groups of children and what development is happening at what particular age, socially, mentally for that child, and what practices are impactful. So we will be discussing that in each different upcoming modules. And at the end of this course, you will feel very confident to start leading workshops or some kids yoga classes. Or even if you are a parent, I always had a lot of parents doing this course to just have some understanding on how, as a mother or a father, I can inculcate some yoga elements in my house, right? And that's also very nice. You can also do it as a parent. Yeah. So, what is the mental preparation for all of you today who are hearing this class and who are planning to join the entire courses? You have to become a kid. That's the only criteria. So, Anjana was asking, do I need prior experience in yoga? No. The only criteria is become a kid. And it's a fantastic journey, as I mentioned before, to explore your own inner child. You'll have fun. I just wish that this whole class was also offline, because there are a lot of activities that we do in kids yoga class which really brings your inner child out, and it's so much of fun together in a group dynamism. Nevertheless, we will try to do some activities online. I'll give you some as a homework with your family so that you can still have a nice idea of it's so much of fun, right? The program flow, the whole course is divided into two like kind of sections. You have theory and practicals, because it's incomplete without discussing or doing lot of activities which are yogais, which are packed as yoga activities, but they are packed in such amazing, unique ways. So we will be doing both. We'll be discussing theory part. And what includes in theory part is mainly age group. So first two modules, the introductory modules, are mainly about introduction, benefits. Tomorrow it will be a little bit of lesson planning, how to plan a lesson, what are different themes that you can use in kids class. And from next week onwards, we will be covering age groups like birth to 2, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13 and onwards. So we'll be discussing this age group because definitely yoga practices will slightly differ into each age group. The approach of a teacher is also going to change with each age group. For example, just to tell you right now, if I'll be teaching at the age of 4 and 5 about shapes, colors, doing some magic in the class, and using a lot of intuitive practices, that'll be very much appreciated and it'll be so much of fun for those children. However, as a yoga teacher for children, if I keep the same principle for somebody who is 9-year or 10-year old, they will not appreciate lot of your magic happening in the class, because psychologically development is happening now. What they want, more problem solving and challenging tasks like obstacle course, yoga pose building blocks. So we do all this. I'll discuss all of this in our upcoming classes. So you see the difference, that why we have different age group and we have divided the entire module as per the age, uh, till the age of 12, like that. And of course, we will discuss till 16 that what practices are recommended. So what will happen during a typical classes? You'll have a flow of theory and then some discussions on practicals. Some we will do it together, whatever possible online, and some things we'll just discuss as an idea, and it'll be like a beautiful sharing. The whole resource of the courses will be shared at the end of the course. Towards the end, in the last modules, we will be sharing resources which consist of comprehensive asana book, picture guide of asana, description of more than around 30 to 40 games, yoga games we call them, more than 20 pranayam or breathwork practices, mindfulness games and activities. So all of these things will be shared towards the end of the module. And whatever we are discussing every week, uh, the PowerPoint presentations notes will be provided on a regular basis. So this is a typical flow of the program. Towards the end, we also cover the basics of uh, teaching yoga to children with autism, ADHD spectrum, um, also somebody who has like mentally challenged children or with some impairment, for example, speech impairment or sight impairment, hearing impairment. So any kind of other challenges that children have. We will also discuss that what yoga practices can be shared with them. So this course becomes also a useful resource for a lot of teachers who are part of special schools. At least you'll get some basic understanding. Of course, this course is not just focusing on autism and ADHD and hyperactive and all of that, but definitely there's one module dedicated to this. So I'm sure you'll get a lot of idea about that as well, right? So I already took you through the overview of the course and what all we will see in the course. The goal, honestly speaking, whatever we are learning, the goal is to make yoga very joyful and fun for kids so that most likely when they grow up, they're going to appreciate and enjoy the whole yoga journey and they will most likely take it up as a serious practice even when they grow up. So, what are we going to discuss over the modules? We are going to understand the importance of yoga for children, teaching tips and contraindications. So we will discuss that how you can make the whole experience best for them by doing a particular setup in the classrooms and certain care that you should take or something that you should not teach or do in the class. This to a certain extent we will be covering up today itself. We will understand different age groups and related practices, that how you can divide yogic practices with the age groups. We are going to discuss innovative ways of teaching yoga through stories and games. So, trust me, I was in that illusion for a long time that all I have to do when I teach children is just to change my voice. That's it. That's kids yoga. I was in that illusion for sure for a long time, till the time I went through a formal training that I have been talking about. I thought, okay, I know poses already. I have been teaching adults. All I have to do is just be a little more childlike, playful, and teach. But whoa, I realized that I was in a bubble. There are a lot of innovative ways of introducing yogic asana, the entire flow of asana, and you can package it in a nice story or you can package it in a game. So we are going to discuss a lot of this amazing ideas. Trust me, when we will be talking about these ideas, you'll be like, wow, I have never thought about it. This is so cool. This is my reaction when I was learning kids yoga. We will also discuss what are the different props that you can use and how to create a yoga story. So I will take you through the stages of how you can make your own yoga story and then use it in the classroom. We will be discussing teaching methodology and lesson planning and sequencing, that how to actually start applying whatever you are, all the information that you're getting. Sometimes what happens through information available online is we are loaded with information, but I've seen a lot of teachers, they still ask me that how do I actually sequence now? How do I put this into a class? I know this. I know there is an innovative story I can do, but how do I really put what is a wise way? What is a perfect time that I should be teaching this age group, or how much it will be well received? So we will be also going through a guideline every age group, that how long you should be, ideal class should be for how long for this age group. So we'll be discussing all of that lesson planning as well. In fact, lesson planning is very flexible in kids class. We will also explore that. So we will discover different ways of lesson planning, not just one, like how we have in the adult classes. As I said, we will be discussing yoga for special conditions, and you will get resources at the end of the course with asana guide, breathing, games, etc., mindfulness exercise. Everything is well written and documented. So whatever we will be discussing, you will always have it in the writing form as well to refer back all the time. So this is the overview of the course. Along with that, I'll be also sending you regularly on your WhatsApp group some of the YouTube links which I found really useful when it came to different yoga stories or some animated songs. So I found that really nice. So I keep sharing that. Whatever information that I find useful, I will keep sharing that so you don't waste your time on searching things online. Right? Okay, let's just enough of talking. Let's do a nice centering activity that I usually take sometimes in the middle of the class or in the beginning of the class. It's nice. Two activities we will do. Okay. One is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I take it for adults too, also for mindfulness classes. So come on, quickly see 5 things around you. And you can name them. You don't have to name it to me, but name it to yourself. Bag, chair, light, bottle, doll. Yes, done? Okay, good. 4 things you can hear. Right? 3 things you can touch. You can also touch actually. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. I have this water and I also have my saliva. But if you have something to eat around you, just taste it nicely and be mindful of that. Now, this brings us in the present moment immediately. So, we love to do this activities with children also. And just like this, there are a lot of ideas that one can do. Now, something that really helps again with children when it comes to centering at the beginning of the class, or you found that the class has become very chaotic, the awareness is gone completely, there is no mindfulness happening, things are really going crazy, then chanting Om with the arm movements is really, really nice. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We all can do it along as well. Bring your arms to the sides, palms facing forward, and the moment we chant, oh, so finish your Om nicely with Namaskar and then bring your palms at your heart center. Okay, this is really nice activity. The moment we combine movement and chant, this is very important for children, especially for those if we are at that moment very distracted here and there. We are combining body and chant. So body and mind, there's a combination of body, breath, mind happening. So rather than just doing Om, which can be also distracting for them, or they'll open the eyes, see around, it's nice to encourage them to use the arms. Let's do it once more. Om. Right? And sometimes as a centering activity, you can also just do a block exercise. You see these yoga blocks that we get, or not very heavy wooden ones, but we get the cork, the light ones, right? Or any object or a notebook or something that is tolerable and safe for children. And then, like, I have this mic pouch right now in front of me. So, what we ask them to do is just chant Om with this on your head. So, you can put a yoga block, which is lighter, or some object. So, all of you, whatever you have in front of you, just put it on your head and try to balance. Now, this brings good neuromuscular coordination in children. Then now I'm balancing and I'm also chanting. This brings more grounding and focus. So let's now, oops, this is slippery with on my oily hair. Let's chant Om. This doesn't stay today. Mm. Om. Very nice. And stay there. Sometimes you also take this nice challenge for children. Whatever object is on the head, all other friends in the class or teachers can give a nice timeline of 10 to 1 and then start counting now. So imagine that I am the one who is holding this and you all can count for me 10, 9, 8, 7, and I am struggling to balance. I'm like balancing and holding it nicely. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and yay! The child really gets good accomplishment as well here that yeah, I could balance. So like this, there are a lot of games and activities that we do for grounding and centering things in the class as well. Right. On that wonderful note, let's move forward to understand the benefits for yoga for kids. Now, why you will need this, especially if you are that aspiring teacher. You really want to teach children professionally, add to your profile of yoga teaching. If you know the benefits, it's easier for you to convince others as well, especially like you can go to different schools and approach them. You can go to different centers where they have some children activities going on. And as a parent also, it will become a very nice inspirational thing for you to understand that why should I be even investing my time on learning yoga for children. So it's a win-win situation for a parent, for teachers, and even as a yoga teacher, if you know the benefits, you this kind of content will give you and confidence that I can design more systematically some presentation for someone in some schools to present them and why should we include yoga in the school. What is your opinion, everyone? Do children need yoga? Like I remember in some of the classes, I always got this combination of answers that children don't need yoga. They are very flexible already. What is your opinion? So let me just like, let's have some small discussion here. Let me check if you can unmute yourself or um, give me a moment. I'll just check. Yeah, you can unmute yourself if you want. Yeah, Kuntal.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I remember this. Actually, I was working with daycare for
Mhm.
some time, and there we used to have one yoga teacher. So I used to always wonder that why yoga teacher is required in daycare when children are playing, and when we, as a the teachers also, we used to take a lot of games with them. And I was not at that time yoga teacher, but I used to be in practice of the yoga and all that. So I really used to wonder. But when the yoga teacher used to come and he used to conduct the class, then I realized. And once it happened that the teacher had not come, and that task was given to me, being I knew the yoga a little bit. So that time when I asked children that how to calm down them, so I said, let's do the one magical asana. I just named it like that. And when I asked them to lie down and close the eyes. And I said, when you will lie down and keep quiet, till the time I don't ask you to move, there will be a magic, big magic. And out of my wonder, it was my just guess that what will happen, but none of the child moved a single second. And that age group was almost 2 to 5.
Wow.
And I was
Interesting.
so much wondered that how so I believe yoga is needed.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your realization and story. That's nice. So, anybody else wants to just share that why children need yoga? Yeah, see, most of the students in New Zealand schools start their day with 10 minutes basic yoga stretches. Definitely schools are understanding the importance of yoga. That's so true. It's really booming now. It's we are very in a very fortunate time now that children in the schools are also getting an opportunity. They are hiring teachers also, professional yoga teachers who are trained with children. So we all have a good scope as well to start working part time in the schools with this course, especially if there's a need and the morning time. So it's definitely needed. As an adult, we all are convinced that we need yoga. But trust me here, even children, they go through lots sometimes in the schools, and we will see that when we check the benefits, we'll see it helps them to slow down and be mindful. I'm just reading the comments that have come wonderfully. Yoga helps children to breathe mindfully and to assist regulate the emotions. Very, very important. We can teach children, the art of regulating emotions. Yesterday itself, I'll give you a small story. I have been little occupied these days with some residential courses too, and with my daughter who is in her peak toddler age. So you can imagine already. She's like crossed 2.5, she's 2.8 now. Everything she wants to do on her own, exploring. And yesterday she had some meltdown, and even I think I also had a meltdown, but it was just with me. I can't tell her that I'm also losing, just like how you are losing. And then what I started doing was, I had no option, of course, but just to breathe through the whole chaos around me. So I just did this. And she asked me, she paused from whatever she was doing and overwhelming. And she asked me, "What are you doing?" And then I was like, wow. I said, I'm feeling exactly like how you're feeling now, tired, overwhelmed, little angry also because we are late. And so I'm just trying to calm myself down. Would you like to try with me? And of course, she didn't go for a very long time, but she did 2 to 3 breaths. And I was very happy that, we are learning this together. We are dealing with the whole difficult emotions together. So together, both of us were like, and again, she had her own different play with that. But it was fun. I was happy. I felt instantly better that they are seeing us, right? They are seeing us how we are regulating ourselves, and they're learning the art of breathing, that okay, breath can help me manage my emotions. So we as a parent, as a teacher, we can replicate that. Even they can learn that. So definitely it is helpful to regulate the emotions for sure. It helps them to slow down, be mindful. Yes, very nice. It can lay a foundation for them. Very nice, Mamta. That's true. It We are setting up this foundation, and that is why I like to make it more fun. Now, some of the classical Indian ashrams approach might differ here than what we are doing in our kids yoga. I remember one of my friend who is also specialized kids yoga teacher back in Israel. Now she's in different country, and she had the same fun-loving approach where the class sometimes was chaotic and sometimes was fun, loud, noisy, and sometimes some moments of silence and yoga nidras and shavasana. It was a beautiful combination. But when she came to India, in one of the ashrams, she was asked to teach Gurukul kids, children. And I think the management there had no clue about what kids yoga should actually be like: holistic, inclusive, fun. They thought yoga means discipline, path of discipline. And when the kids would play games, the senior monks would have this eyes that, what's happening? Yoga class should look like this and that. Why they don't look? This is the biggest illusion, unfortunately, many of us hold when it comes to kids yoga. So I want all of you to let go of this expectation that when I become or you become kids yoga teacher, it's going to be like very calm and zen like class. It's never like that. It's just we are sharing, playing, doing something. And yes, I will teach you that how your lessons should be so smart. You need to have some things which are calming, where there's a silence in the class also. But it's not about having silence and discipline throughout. We are just again them forcing them in the same mold of our education setup. Like, I'm the teacher, you are the doers and listeners, so continue. We have to learn the art of co-creating the class. We co-create with children. We are not the lesson planners all the time, right? If this foundation is right, as Mamta wrote, that it lays the foundation, right? So if this foundation is led right, where they're co-creating, they're enjoying yoga, most likely as an adult, forget the teenager age sometimes. They might as well forget that they ever took up kids yoga class. But trust me, waiting for that time patiently to go, they will drift back to what they had their foundation as kids. That never goes to waste. So yes, yoga, if they like it, they have introduction to it, most likely they'll take it up. Kamakshi is also putting a very point across, very important. It helps in increasing their focus. So whatever they are doing now, they are good in academics, they are good in some sports, or whatever, any activity requires focus. So definitely yoga practices, certain special games also that we do in yogaist way will really help them increase their focus. To develop healthy, mindful, competitive personality, Balanced personality, I would say, rather than competitive. Yes, Kuntal says right. But I've observed in schools they don't have enough teachers to handle children. Yeah, that's a struggle here, especially in India. Through yoga, children can connect with divine in their hearts. That's so nice. Definitely, yes. They're understanding yoga principles. Do you know there's an art of sharing yoga philosophy also with children? And I'll share with that. It's an art. It's not giving a class on yamas and niyamas and bhakti and karma and jnana. No, not really like that, like how we go through as an adult. But through small games and stories and some activities, we actually can teach them life lessons and values. So we're going to discuss that as well, that how we can do it in a friendly way where they don't get intimidated about bored by the philosophy class, but they are getting life lessons through just having some fun. So yes, definitely that's also a part of the whole thing, right? Let's go through now some systematic benefits of kids yoga. As many of you already pointed out, we'll just dig a little deeper into it and try to discuss and understand this. It improves focus, concentration, and improves learning. Now, this aspect makes it very essential that we should introduce kids yoga in school setups, especially because of this. And this is a very good carrot that you can give to any schools. You understand? Carrot. Carrot is like, a bribe. It's a very good carrot given to all the schools sometimes initially, that if you want your children, your school's result to get better, if children are able to focus better, then of course your scores will improve. This is one of the best hacks. I have to say all these things in such a way because sometimes schools don't understand that why should we invest or hire a yoga teacher in the schools. So it's your job also to how you present yourself and the benefits of it. Because these are true benefits, they're not made up or something, right? It helps in improving their physical as well as mental health. So why you think a child can have stress, anxiety, mental health issues? Why do you think a kid should have? Don't we all aspire to live like kids and I want to go back? And many of us say that, oh, I loved my childhood. I wish I was just in that age. I don't like being adult. Why you think then we are talking about here reducing stress and anxiety for a kid, mental health? From where the stresses are coming, can anyone just try to discuss or point out? Why we need to also understand the mental health of a child? Yes, burden of studies and expectations of results sometimes from parents mainly, unfortunately. Too much stress at school, society, social media. Yes, that's right. Peer pressure. Okay, these are very obvious points that you all spoke. I'm going to speak little more. Do you know that children silently suffer sometimes with bullying or parents going through some fights or dysfunctional family? And if they sense that emotion in the house, I'm not scaring you all. We all are normal families with fights and disagreements happening. That's fine. But if it's too much, if it's very overwhelming, frequent, and it's like ongoing thing, like let's say our parents are going through some separation or they have separated already, the family is dysfunctional, or in the schools they are being bullied or something like that, they keep it in their mind, in their hearts, which they don't reveal sometimes. So it's very important. Yoga is a beautiful way of dealing. We have this sharing circles in yoga classes too, where a child can find its safe space to even open up. So yoga teachers should have that beautiful place like a tiny counselor in child's life, through yoga. Because once you have like fun play activities with that child, they will start developing that trust in you. Sometimes even more than a parent if parents are unavailable. Another reason, I'm not saying that it's obvious. I understand that as a working mom also. Sometimes parents are very busy. And nowadays, with all the financial burden, pressure, children going in the best of the best schools, you see that parents, both the parents, we have don't have a we no more have village to raise a child. You just have a couple sometimes that also single mom and struggling, all of that. It's not easy, even for the child. So lack of time, yes, that's Zoom user. I don't know your name, but well pointed. Lack of time spent with the family and nature, yes, can bring a lot of stress. Okay. Uh, so this is why we also need to address their mental health through yoga practices. It helps to strengthen the overall bodily systems. It's in a growing phase now. So all the bodily system like digestive health, reproductive health, health of muscles, joints, all of this can also be improved with some particular systematic physical practices, right? It helps to improve self-esteem and confidence of the child. You will see always this two kind of personalities. Some children are very shy, um, find it very difficult to speak in front of others, and some children are really outgoing, like too much sometimes outward. You have to calm them down. So yoga can also bring balance to their personalities. If they are too extrovert, it brings them in balance. If they are too shy and introvert, it can also bring them personality in balance and improves that confidence. Very important. Next point is it brings awareness and understanding of the body. For example, when we take them through a beautiful guided relaxation or shavasana or some kind of practices where we are naming that, okay, focus here, focus there, it brings understanding. The moment they are aware, you have won the game actually. The moment a child develops the faculty of being aware of what are the sensations happening around me, inside of me, it's a very big battle won already. The moment they're aware, even as an adult, this quality then is always sharpening as you age. When you are doing regular meditation and yoga, your awareness faculty will always become better and better. For example, as an adult, it is easy for us to pinpoint that I am feeling sad today, or I'm feeling this today, I'm feeling that today. The moment you know, you're already at a good stage where now you know what to do about it. You can work on it. Sometimes with children, it's so much of mixture in here and here that they can't bridge a gap between what's happening in my body, what's happening in my mind. There is this lot of wiring connection going on, which makes them even more chaotic. And that is why sometimes they yell a lot. There are tantrums, and parents think that, oh, the child is just acting out, is having a meltdown, but maybe something is happening. The more the child grows up, and if through yoga, meditation practices, if they develop awareness and understanding of the body, it's a very good situation where the moment you are aware, you can deal better. At least they can share or talk about it. And that is why we have this amazing activity that we take for awareness of, also emotions and mind and mental health is identifying the emotions. So I have this, I will show you maybe tomorrow or in next sessions when we actually do these activities. I have this emotion cards. Nowadays, you easily get it online. You can print them or you can make them also if you're good at art little bit. Like, but try to, depending on the age group, you need to make it. Of course, you can't have a lot of evolved emotions for a like up to the age of 5. They can be basic emotions, but trying to identify them. So we play a game here. What we do is we have two parties. If it's a big group of children, we have it divided into like two groups, and then we call one leader from one group to a teacher, and teacher will say that you have to act scared, and then they will go, they'll not say anything, like the game that we used to play as kids in India, at least I know, damsheras, where you don't speak anything but you just act out. So same way, the child who got an instruction to now act out like a, being scared, will go to another group in front of them, will act scared or try to act scared. What does that mean? And then the other group is going to identify that. So that is one way of taking the game. Sometimes I just show them cards, emotion cards, and tell them that act out, or more activities like that, which we will discuss in upcoming classes. So all these things, it helps them to develop some emotional awareness as well, along with the body, right? As I discussed before, the next point, it also helps them to prevent and remove stress and anxiety from the body. This is very important. Do you see the whole world talking about right now some somatic exercises for releasing trauma from the body, releasing stress and anxiety? Have you heard, all of you, little bit about this? Some exercises, moving. So this is more popular in the West now, because in India we already had movements to deal with stress and anxiety like yoga. But now some specific movements are recommended to release energy from the body. Stress and anxiety are energy for the body, dense energies, right? Which we store in the body, which are repressed in the body. So there are various poses, breath work, like in kids yoga, I also like to call it as locomotion breath or dragon's breath, bunny's breath, lion's breath. So all of this breath work can really help also to release stress and anxiety in children. So we can teach them the systematic art of movement and breathing to release the pent up emotions or any kind of stress that they are holding in the body. So this is something really important. And one of the best thing that I like about yoga, sometimes it is made competitive, but most of the times in kids yoga class, it is the only physical activity that is non-competitive. Now you see in a lot of sports, even in schools, there's a competition going on, right? Chess, indoor or outdoor games, or baseball, football, cricket, whatever it is in India or in the West, we have different sports which are always measured as something to compete. Well, uh, in yoga also we do have some competitions now in a lot of schools of some asanas. But overall, if you just see a structure of a typical classroom, it's not competitive. You're doing physical movement. You know what I like to tell children usually in the class? Just enjoy and see how your body moves in different shapes and how it takes different shapes. Just see that and enjoy that. However, having said that, I remember when I was taking class for a group of children, which was very informal for some kids in the community a few years ago here. So I was taking this like frog jumps and some activities, yoga, like packaged as yoga, and we were enjoying. And immediately, couple of children, age group was 8 plus, below 10. They immediately asked, "Who came first? Who came first? Who came first?" So you see, it's so ingrained in children also because of sports and competition that someone has to come first, someone has to come last. This is not nice in long run. It becomes like everything, it's a threat to their personality where and confidence level to where they have to fight for survival every time. Oh, I have to compete, I have to be best, I have to better, I have to outsmart someone to feel better about myself. We don't want this in yoga, right? So as a yoga teacher, we can kind of remove the layers of what our education system has unknowingly done. Always compete, marks, scores, first, last, second, third. So in yoga, I just tell them that it's not about first and last. Let's just enjoy how we are, how my body can get into different shapes. Isn't that a miracle? So let's just enjoy that. So it is definitely has a big place in physical activity world where we it is non-competitive, right? Yoga through emotional management and stress and anxiety management can help in improving behavior issues in children as well, right? It can help them to learn the art of relaxing. And there are some amazing and unique ways, and these are my favorite personally, on how you can teach the art of relaxation to children. And they really like it. I have seen that the moment I take some magic carpet ride, shavasanas or yoga nidras, and when they lie down, and then when they get up, they're so blissful and happy. They rub their eyes as if they had a good nap. They feel fresh and nice. So they're really nice. The art of relaxation. We have some more benefits. It helps in improving the creativity aspect of the child. So, not just in the outside world or whatever field they are in, but in yoga classes too, you will see that it's not restricted to yoga mat, some poses or breath work. As we will discuss in every module, different activities, you will see that there are a host of other things that we do, just like some preschooler thing, we have craft, we have drawing, we also do that in yoga. Of course, we have a little yoga touch in everything, like breathing is involved, poses are involved, some yoga element is always there, but mainly we also use this creative aspects in the classroom, right? As I mentioned earlier, it helps to balance the energies, hyperactivity, especially children with this ADHD symptoms. It's very nice that We can calm down the child which requires to calm down. We can actually stimulate the child who needs to also, grow with some confidence. We can do a lot of things there. Okay. Preschool. There's a question from Kuntal. I have questioned that in preschool they have very good activities. How we differentiate? As in, I didn't get that. How do we differentiate? Uh, so what the difference you're saying between those activities and yoga? You mean? So when you will go through the entire thing, you will realize that how in every activity we are adding some yoga pose, or there is a breath work, or there's something to do with yoga story. So in every some activities are overlapping and very similar, but we see that there's always a yoga element added to the whole thing. That is the main difference between some of the activities, right? We teach children to deal how to deal with the stresses of life. It's a foundation, as someone wrote in the group, right? That it is going to lay the foundation. And here I want to really have to share this story, which I always share in kids yoga classes. Uh, we have one child in community here. This is few years ago. Now he's a grown up boy. At that time, I remember we were taking yoga informally in the community. We were having a sharing circle, and I just were asking that, do you want to share anything? And then he was venting out that my mother makes this sabji. Sabji is this Indian curry vegetables that we eat with chapati roti. I don't like that, and she makes that, and then I get very angry. She also then scolds me, and there is this big drama all the time. And then I told him that fine, I leave it up to you and your mother whether you want to eat or not eat, or she wants to change what she's giving. But instead of you throwing the plate or getting angry, why don't we do this one thing which yoga recommends? And I was doing it very casually with no expectations whatsoever that is going to apply it. I was just doing my job, to be honest, with all my heart. And I was telling him that why don't we just deal with the whole anger that you experience when you see that sabji? That you can do a lion's breath. If you feel like throwing the plate or yelling or shouting, can we do this? Lion's breath. I'm sure many of you little bit yoga background. There's a lion's breath where you also make the sound like ah, eyes big, stick out the tongue and make the sound. Your simhasan is one of the pose, and it's also a breath that we use in yoga. So I did my job, and I also actually forgot about it. After a few days, I met his mother, and she said that we had this argument about this sabji, and this time he went to one corner of the room and he started doing something like this. It was such a pleasant surprise for me that he actually is trying to manage his, kind of emotion and stress and anger that is coming up. So it was very interesting that how children they learn the art of dealing with this emotions that come up. I was really laughing. I then told her that it's normal. You don't freak out because mother had no clue what's happening. Why is he doing like this? And then I said, no, that's a beautiful lion's breath. Did he throw the plate? He said, no, he didn't throw the plate. Of course, he didn't eat the sabji also, but he just dealt with that in a better way than yelling and throwing the plate aside or getting angry. So that was really a small achievement that I felt that definitely works. We are teaching them how to deal with something. I also teach children always, and they have been doing it even here in the schools in GV, that whenever they have exams, it's a stressful thing, right? Having an exam. Honestly, even for me, I remember when I go back to my school time, if I think of the days when exams were there, it was stressful for sure. Nothing in comparison to the stress that we have in our today's life, but at that time it was really big stress. So I tell them to breathe Brahmari or do some shavasana and deep abdominal breathing with some props on their belly, and giving some yogic ways of dealing with that energy that is inside of you before the exam. So that really helps, right? Definitely, it improves flexibility. Now, here I got one comment in one of the classes that, hey, children are really flexible. Guess what? I don't believe that anymore. Do you think children are really flexible nowadays? No. Any credit goes to? Credit goes to? Yes. Somebody showing on the screen phones and social media. Yes. Yes, that's right. In our days, at least, I remember my childhood. I have crossed my 35 now, so I'm talking about that age group. So at that time, I still remember my childhood was maybe the second last or last phase where we still used to only play outdoors in the evenings after our schools. Like there was this group of friends, sometimes we didn't even know half of them, but everyone would gather down and we had outdoor activities a lot. Nowadays, people have to sign up for it. Like mothers have to think that, okay, what outdoor activity my child will go. But before, we just had like this nice free play outside because we really did not have lot of easy access to phone. I think there was no mobile only at that, like, or there were very simple small mobile that had come, which only few people in the house had, not everyone. So nowadays, people prefer their me time, or even children, or especially when they grow up to 8, they want more of the games on the phone and all of that over the outdoor activities. So I have literally seen in one of our workshops, a lot of workshops, in fact, where it's a mixed age group sometimes, I see that children even can't go forward fold properly. I'm not blaming them. It can be genetic sometimes, it can be very natural, their body type. That's fine. But usually we have this illusion, many of us, that children are flexible. It's not like that anymore. Physical activity have reduced a lot. uh, Everything is at machine vehicles, so it's not easy. So it's good to have yogic practices little bit also in place. Now some children who are in sports, I have seen this is professionally happening in all the schools, their coaches, they recommend them to do some yoga, because if they have to improve their alertness, dexterity, speed, performance in the sports, yoga can be a very big instrumental in that, right? And the second last point is to create balance and discipline. I really like this point where I'm talking constantly about fun games and all, but trust me, there are some activities and things that we do in the classroom which brings some boundaries, which brings discipline, which brings balance. This is also important. It's not about they just come to you, they take you for granted, they have fun because you're a cool teacher, and then you go back. That's there for sure. They will find you cool because you will play a lot with them. At the same time, your class has to have a beautiful combination of game, fun, laughter, joy, dancing, along with discipline, silence time. So all this, it brings beautiful blend to your holistic class. And very, very important last point, which we will discuss in detail when we talk about the age group from 8 to 10. In that module, I'll be covering up what ancient scriptures recommend, that what practices should be done for 8 to 10 to delay the onset of early puberty nowadays. Have you seen how the age of puberty is actually changing in like last 10 to 15 years, especially? Uh, Menstruation or puberty age is achieved very early. This creates lot of imbalance in the body and mind. The physical body is going through something, but emotionally, in maturity is not there. And this can bring a lot of chaos in the mind. So early onset of puberty can be delayed with some of these specifically targeted yogic practices as mentioned in the scriptures of yoga, right? So balancing the hormones is one of the important benefit, but this we only focus for the age group between 8 to 12. So at that time, some practices must be involved. You should, it's like a ritual that children should be doing this regularly, something like that, right? So yeah, I'm just going to read this beautiful comment. Yeah, we would play chupa chupi game, hide and seek, I mean in English, making sand castles, coco. Yes, going to schools on cycle. Correct. I remember doing that too at some point post eight. So these are some of the benefits for yoga for children. Of course, more and more can be discussed here, but I think this was elaborate and enough for you to get convinced that why children should be doing yoga. Just a moment. I just opened something by mistake. Okay. So at the end, we'll just discuss some important points to remember. With every age group, as I mentioned, we will be discussing contraindications and important points for that age group. For example, this is general and overview of the whole age group. But when we go in a specific age group, we will be again discussing that for that particular age group, what are the contraindications. Most of them are pretty similar, but still we will pinpoint some specific ones. Yeah. So we are not going to be fanatic yoga teachers for children, right? We want them to enjoy the experience of moving their bodies and enjoy how it can move in different shapes. So, number one thing, you're not going to overcorrect the postures. The triangle, I have seen kids yoga classes and led it. I see that how triangle looks unique for each child in the class when they're in the triangle pose. And it's okay. Let them co-create the class. Let them create their own version of triangle that day. And it's fine. You just have to see that they're not injuring or it's like they're not falling off. Just you have to basically take care that they are safe. That's it. You don't have to worry about this. I have seen some teachers being very rigid even with children. It's coming from something, their own things, of course. Again, that's another subject for adult. But it's just like, no, 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 triangle, it's not like that. You have to have your hand like this, hand like one hand like this. No, it doesn't work in kids yoga class like that. And they, till the time they're safe, you have to model it, of course. You have to do it. If they can, the way they catch up, it's up to them. Let them be. Let them move into their own version of triangle. I see even my own daughter doing sometimes when we just do some fun warrior. Her warrior is totally not warrior for sure. It's not the warrior that I have in my mind in the adults class, the alignment that we teach in warrior, the warrior that we have been doing. But that's fine. She calls it warrior, and so it be. Let it be a warrior for her. That's her truth at this age, and let it be. Right? So no overcorrecting. That's one of the most discouraging thing. But of course, doesn't mean that you never correct them. We will discuss that what is the right age when you start giving them more alignment and correction instructions. It's not that you don't correct forever. Give them, you can't have that illusion that forever their triangle is different. No, not really. That doesn't happen. They also learn it slowly. So till the age of, I would say, at least 5, 6, you don't correct a lot or nothing. In fact, just let them experience different fun poses. Yeah. Breathing should be through nose rather than mouth for children because sometimes they might end up breathing in also through the mouth. We must include relaxation in the classes. Even if you think that they were not tired, children have a lot of energy. So why they would want relaxation? No, they do need. Sometimes they don't know. Have you seen children yelling, shouting, misbehaving? Is what parents say. I'm saying. I'm not saying misbehaving. Parents end up saying like this that they are showing tantrums, they're yelling, shouting. The only reason sometimes is they're overwhelmed and tired. How many of you, as a parent, maybe, or someone who have seen younger children, experiences that's as simple as that? All they wanted was just they wanted to sleep. That's it. And they were doing, or they were hungry, or something like there was some need behind what they were doing. There's a need behind all the tantrums, and that is why it's nice. If systematically in a regular classes, relaxation is added, if they were overstimulated, if they're overwhelmed, they will realize it and they will have benefit from that. So they'll do relaxation and maybe their whole mood for the next few hours will improve. So as a teacher, your job is also to include relaxation, irrespective of whether they were overwhelmed or not. You still add it. It's nice if it's possible. Of course, we will work through this also. As I see this, divide classes by age groups. Sometimes this is not possible. We will discuss the uh, remedy or troubleshooting ideas here. This has happened to me a lot when I was put in a position where I had to teach somebody who is 4-year old and also somebody who is 11-year old in the same class. It is for sure challenging, but there are strategies and hacks and ideas where win-win situation can be created where both the parties are happy and are getting value from your class. So ideally, if you are into a professional teaching, you have a studio, you have you are a school teacher where you have already this division, you have different classes, then it's nice. It will be easy. So it's good to divide because you can really give good quality time exactly to what their age group needs. When it's mixed age group, it's little challenging but manageable, right? Why? The reason being the social development is totally happening on a different phase. No? So the way they will play games, they'll come together, do some group activities will evolve. Okay. Follow the minds. This is very important as strict yoga teachers, especially someone like me who would always have a lesson plan ready and blah blah blah. Follow the minds and interest of the children. You know what my teacher would say sometimes? Throw lesson plan out of the class. Sometimes just make it, but your duty as a teacher is to make a lesson plan. But sometimes be flexible with children. Just throw it out and have that mental peace also. Sometimes as a teacher for adult or in school setup, we are so professionally trained to have follow lesson plan, finish syllabus and blah blah blah, that we're always stressed over finishing and to do things. So we need to have this flexibility of our mind to relax, have lesson plan B, which is absolutely co-created by children. And here is something I remember. All Indians are going to laugh because that word is the slang is in Indian language, but we will try our best to translate it, but still it will be like of no use because the word itself is fun. So I had designed this class in my mind for children in the community here some time ago, and I took that game. It was super hit game. It was like flying yogi game, and it actually works. You know, it's a synergy where you just use your two fingers, and in a group there's a specific way of how you hold. One person is lying down, and it's a levitating yogi game. You actually come up like this just with your two fingers. It's not magic, it's synergy and little bit of magic for sure. But so anyways, I took that game. It was super hit, and then again I went another day for a class planning something else now, something different. And I took that game, and one of the kid, he honestly, children are very honest. They will not be diplomatic like us, thinking that I should not give this feedback now, maybe later, maybe in different way, or maybe not because they are nice. No, children are honest, blunt. So he told me, and all Indians, you try help me translating this in other languages. Mataji, this game is bhangar. So I'm sure our Indians are smiling already. Bhangar means bhangar itself is so like slang. The English is so polished, the translation, that it will not give you the impact of it. It's something like it's garbage, it's rubbish. Something like, it's rubbish. The game is rubbish. That bhangar word. And then they wanted to play the same game that I took yesterday. Just that they were really rigid about it that day, and they were in mood and they were smiling. They were not troubling me, but they were really wanting. And I'm like, okay, fine. What's the harm? We continued with the same yoga practice like previous day. So we have to follow sometimes the interest of children as well, and we have to adjust our plan accordingly. Always keep ready some extra asanas, fun. This is very important. Sometimes you're in a fix as a teacher, as a beginner, especially if you're not dealt with children much, you will feel exhausted very quickly. That okay, what do I do now? It's already done. What's the next? So have lesson plan ready. Keep it dynamic and fun. The lesson plan will need always the balance and spontaneity. You need to be really flexible. Okay, this is not working. Let me try this. Let me try this. So this knack will come with experience. I have seen and I have heard the experience of some of our beginners, graduates who do this course, and when they come back to me, they have this mixed emotion. The Malji class really went well. I'm enjoying. They also liked it. And again, after a few sessions, the feedback comes that Malji, I'm just out of the things now. I don't know what to do, how to balance this, and how to calm the chaos. There's one child who just don't want to do yoga. So we are also going to discuss this troubleshooting with every age group, and I'm also going to share that what problems usually arises with what age group. For example, trouble with 5 to 7 can be different than trouble arising in the age group of 8 to 10, but there is a trouble always in the class. Some troubleshooting is needed by a teacher always. You will see somebody who thinks that yoga is just for girls, or they are very shy to sit with this next person in a partner pose, or they don't want this child, they only want to go with that child only for the partner. So you will witness all of these things, and then there are some troubleshooting ideas we will be discussing. So you should, as a teacher, as I'm saying, with practice, you will get there. You will learn the art of being spontaneous with your thoughts and ideas and implementation like that, right? So specifically some age groups, 8 plus, they love challenges, but still we do encourage some challenging things also, especially specifically 8 plus. But in yoga, let's make it personal goal or self improvement, that you just become the better version of yourself. It's not about competing with who's doing the best asana in the class, or who's more flexible, or who's doing best in the games. We want to make it more enjoyable personally. It's not competing. Okay. And remember one thing at the last, that even if it's not a formal class, like a setup in a studio or something, yogic principles and spirituality can be still taught. Sometimes I just take 5 minutes class in the temple. When I see five kids, six children, and they're around, we just start doing some nice breath work, a story, or something discussion, some butterfly song, just 5 minute class. And that's fine. So even you don't have to think that, oh, you can, you can become the best babysitter if you know a little bit of this yogic games and hacks. You go to any function, weddings, you can take some load off from some busy moms by becoming a beautiful babysitter, collecting all children together and doing a lot of fun activities. That is also yoga for me. It's not just that you have to be a certified yoga teacher with a studio or some online setup and you start teaching. That's fine, that's formal. But otherwise, also, you can give some nice yoga inspiration to children, even off the mat here and there, right? Some of the contraindications at the end: no bandhas or kumbhak. You know all this, bandhas and kumbhakas in English, locks or retentions, holding of the breath and retentions, not up to the age of 12 years because their lungs are still underdeveloping. The soft liquid substance around the lungs, it is still undergoing some development till the age of 12. So anything that brings lot of pressure there is not recommended. No holding asanas. Now, we all have heard in classical yoga training, which even we teach here, Sthira Sukham Asanam, as Yoga Sutras say, no? Holding the pose steady and comfortable. But no, not for children up to the age of 12. The reason being, ossification process is still not finished. Their bones are still soft. So if they hold particular pose for a very long time, it can be a little challenging. So what is a good time? Under 6, 15 seconds approximately around that. It's not a hard rule like that. Anywhere around 15, 20 seconds, less than that, it's fine. If they're under 12, above 6 to 12, 30 seconds approximately. This is very subjective. This is just an idea that don't go beyond like a minute or so, beyond 30 seconds, right? Yoga poses should be made enjoyable. Don't make it as punishment. And this is something we will discuss in our upcoming classes, that you will see in a group class some children, no matter how much fun your lesson plan is, they don't want to do it. They will say, I don't want to do. No. And that's fine. Don't make it like a punishment. Sometimes you'll say, okay, now because you're not doing this, you have to do this breath work. You have to do this asana 5 times now because you're not. If you do this, it is like a punishment, right? And they will have negative understanding of this as they grow up gradually. They might not tell you anything out of the fear, they will end up doing it, but they will start hating this because they were forced to do it. And they were this asana or some kind of poses were used as a punishment. They might not like that whole concept, so you should avoid doing that as well, right? Practices of inversions like shoulder stand, headstand, should be done gradually as the children develop sense of balance and their motor skill development is better. So This point will be discussed in detail when we go to the specific age group one by one. If there are some disorders, fever, headaches, don't do movement of yoga, just be there in the class, right? Now, if any child has any condition like asthma or diabetes, juvenile diabetes, discuss with doctors and parents before they can do things. Some breath works are contraindicated, but still it's nice to take like NOC from the doctors and parents and understand little more better about the child's condition, right? So these are some general contraindications. With each age group, we will see is there if there is anything more that is contraindicated, right? Ahem. Okay, just I want to end on a nice, fun, colorful note. So I'm going to show you one picture of the props that you must have as a kids teacher. Okay, so here's the whole picture image. I'm just going to stop this now, share, and just give me a moment. I will prop images. Yes, yeah. Just give me a moment, guys. Okay, I'm going to share the prop image now. Let's go through this now. The whole, just let me know how good you're able to see. Can you see it? I'm going to make it a little bigger. Do you all see it now? Yes. Just a moment. Yeah. So suggested props, and you don't have to have everything now. Certain things I will insist that you should have immediately. And maybe personally also, as we do some activities, I'll show you some things. Suggested props are feather. This helps you in some steady, comfortable pose and breath work. Pom pom balls also for some craft activity and some breath work and yoga. Sticks, ice cream sticks also in some craft and balancing activities that we do in yoga. Standard small size ball, a Hoberman spear, if you know. This is not the actual Hoberman spear ball. This is just Indian version of small spear. You know, all of you, do you know Hoberman spear ball, by the way? It is a small ball and then it becomes bigger when you throw it in the air. This really is helpful for breath work practice. It's really nice. So as I discuss the activities in future, you will know how to apply these props also. We will also learn the application of each of these props, and also your handbook has this. So whenever there is some activity mentioned, it also has written what props you will need for that. So it's also mentioned in your resources. Paper boards for some breath work. Sticks again for some balancing poses. Straw for breath work. Hula hoop ring for taking some warm up activity and obstacle course. Some stones that I like to use in Shavasana. I was talking about this emotion cards, right? See, it has hungry, confused, angry, smiling. So you get this online. You can make it. Nowadays, you have everything on internet. You can just download images, print them out, laminate them, and you're good to go. Singing bowl, some storybooks, yoga spinner. This also I got online. You can use this. This is not mandatory, all the spinner things and all. It's just whatever I find. Sometimes it's like a collection, I keep gathering them. Yoga cards is something, one of the most important that I would insist you, even if as a beginner, if you don't want to invest a lot in different props, feather, yoga cards is something I would recommend you that you must have. So yoga card is a number one thing I would recommend because that really makes your class very interesting rather than just, telling them, okay, now we're going to do this pose, that pose. No, just having them choose some card. You will also learn the several application that how do I actually use yoga cards in the class. There are different ways of doing that. Just not restricted to one thing, but there are a lot of ways on uh, games that you can play with yoga cards. So having a set of yoga cards would be highly recommended. These were handmade by one of the friend or one of the student. And then they were laminated for selling in one of the ashrams. So it looks handmade and nice. But otherwise, you also get it online. Amazon, you can just check there. You have, yeah, you can always keep some craft papers. Then I also like this yoga dice, which is for adults, but I do use sometimes in kids classes as well as adult classes. So this is also you get on Amazon. At least few years ago I got it. I hope it's still there. So yoga dice is where you just roll the dice and see what pose is there, and then you do that pose. This makes the whole class very creative. And small plush toy is very important to take some breath work and some other activities as well. You can also have regular dice with numbers on it, 1 to 6. So even that dice is very helpful for a lot of the games. So my number one recommendation for someone who is still thinking that how much I'm going to teach or I'm not sure, at least invest in yoga cards for sure to begin with. So that is something you should have, all of you, right? So yes, I think more props. This is enough for now. And as when we share activities, I'll tell you anything that is also needed. Mm, yes, perfect. Okay, I'm done from my side for today's first class. In tomorrow's class, we'll be discussing lesson planning part, how to plan a lesson for children, different themes that you can use, and introduction to warm-up activity, how to take some warm-ups to begin with when we start the class, how to open the class. So first part we'll cover, right? If you have any questions or comments, it's the class is now open. Otherwise, I'm done from my side for today. Yes,
How
Kumar, go
many
ahead.
classes will be there for the whole program, the
Yeah, there are
workshop?
10 classes. 10 classes are there. Total 10.
Okay,
Today we covered already one, so 9 more.
okay. All on Saturday, Sundays, or
Saturday,
weekdays?
Sundays only. No, only on
Okay.
weekends, same timing. And recordings will be provided always if some, because we do have a lot of participants who couldn't join even today because of the time difference. So they will be seeing the recordings, and many of them will be doing the whole course through the recording as well. Uh, who's that? Taravali, yes. Online we don't have, but we do definitely offer 200-hour and 300-hour yoga teacher training program at Eco Village, and also we have sound healing teacher training program. Is Vrindalila here? Yes, she's here, but her video is off. If she's around, she is one of the lead trainers for sound healing. So yes, Taravali, we do provide this, but at Eco Village. As of now, we do not have this TTCs of 200 and 300 and sound healing online. Yeah. So Vrindalila says namaste to all of you. Yes, thoroughly understand. But as of now, that offering is only residential. If at all in future we plan something online, please stay connected. We'll definitely keep you updated about it.
We would be getting the recordings, right? If we miss any of the
Yes,
classes.
yes, yes, you will be getting. I would highly recommend all of you for the energy purpose and learning, because sometimes recordings become such a pending task. Ask me, I've gone through some of the courses myself. I have 3 courses pending in my phone right now, and I'm yet to finish recordings and all. So usually it becomes like a pending task. So try your best. If you're signing up, you're committed, try your best to attend live. Of course, some days I understand some emergencies there, but try to keep up that pace and enthusiasm. Otherwise, it drizzles out, and I've experienced it myself where the course remains in your inbox forever. You've paid for it, and the recordings are there and they're lying like since ages. I have gone through that personally. So it's good if you can attend live. But yes, we understand time difference and some emergency work. So recordings will be always provided. And you can read and ask questions next class. Right? Okay. We will be again posting the details of the course in the WhatsApp group that you were all added to, through which you joined today's class. So once again, the whole module, uh, the fee structure, everything will be posted. So you can go through it. And tomorrow's class is also open for all. So please feel free to invite anyone who is keen on this topic as well. And you can have more people as well. Okay. So if you have, Satya ji has a question. Yes.
Thank you very much, Aarti. I just wanted to say about the inversions. I just wanted to ask. I didn't get the detail. You said inversions. It should be done after the children develop better motor skill and balance. Is that right?
Yes,
Inversions
correct.
and this type.
Because you will see, although you feel children are flexible and all, but children are not comfortable with plow and inversions sometimes, especially who are 5, 6 year old. They really struggle and topple. So we have to be a little mindful. I would recommend giving longer, challenging inversions and fun after 8. They have
After
better
8.
motor coordination and balance.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Of course, this will be again retouched in properly when we are doing that particular age group, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, 8 to 10, sorry. So at that time, we will discuss this again. At that time, we will discuss everything about what asanas are good for that age group, what breathing work. Of course, certain things are always overlapping, to be honest. It's not that it's like a box, but certain things important will be again covered, something like balance, coordination, inversions. We will repeat this again in detail.
Thank you very
How
much.
often is this course offered? Once in a year, as of now. So we do it once in a year. Because we have a lot of parallel courses happening, like we had Chakra TTC course, then we had prenatal, children, meditation TTC. So like that, we have 6 to 7 certified courses where there is no bandwidth to repeat the courses. We just do one and then we do it next year. Right? Yeah, it's a certified course. Yes. You'll get certificate from Yoga Alliance, a continuing education provider. So you can add this to the hours, your existing hours of experience as yoga teacher, and start leading the classes. It's a certified course wherein you'll also have some assignments. So assignment is part, especially if you want to get certified, assignments are also part of the course. It'll be like as the assignment would be something like where you're teaching children, you have to mock that class, a video, and some written assignment as well. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for your enthusiastic participation. I will see you all tomorrow at the same time for module session 2 tomorrow. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Namaste. Have a lovely day ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For how long will the videos be available? I'll ask our admin team about this and get back to you. Thank you, Vrinda Leela, for a lovely comment.